Hello and welcome back to the African Bullion Exchange channel. We're back again with another video, and today we are going to dive into a very interesting subject. Actually, it's more of a question. Is Zimbabwe a Ponzi economy? Now, in light of everything that's been happening in Zimbabwe with the introduction of this new ZiG currency, I think one has to ask the question. And just to clarify before we go any further, I am not political and I am not a ZANU-PF hater. Neither am I an MDC supporter. As a matter of fact, I'm actually non-partisan. I'm not into politics at all. I'm just simply asking the questions that I think a lot of people want to ask. So if someone can come up with an answer, great. Let's have a conversation. So back to the question. Is Zimbabwe operating a Ponzi economy? First things first, what is a Ponzi economy? Well, this is a term that is used to describe an economic system where growth is driven primarily by unsustainable practices such as borrowing money to pay off existing debts or relying on speculative instruments rather than productive economic activities. I think with Zimbabwe, what applies is when we look at the fact that Zimbabwe is relying on borrowing money to pay off existing debts. Right. Now, what do I mean by this? Roundabout, I'm not sure exactly which year this was in, but when the bond notes were introduced the very first time, when Robert Mugabe was still the president, he introduced the bond notes and he pegged them against the US dollar. So the idea was that, listen, Zimbabweans, you need to invest your forex that you're getting through remittances. Wherever you're getting your forex from, you need to take those US dollars, pounds, or rands, take that money, trust us, and invest this money in Zimbabwean bonds. So what did the Zimbabwean people do? Yeah, they bought it the first time. They ran behind it. They took all of their forex, they bought the bonds, and they used the bonds to carry out, daily transactions and things of that nature. Over time, the Zimbabwean bond became bastardized, and the rate just started doing what the rate normally does. People lost confidence because too much money was being printed, and literally cash was just being taken away, and it was a cash grab. That's how we came across. So eventually the rate got to a point where it became unjustifiable. People lost confidence in the bond, and eventually the bond had to be phased out. Now, when the bond got phased out, this is when they introduced the RTGS. And again, the Zimbabwean government tried to convince us that, listen, you need to show faith. This is different from the bond, and it's going to work out a lot better than the bond. Again, people receiving money through remittances, doesn't matter where you get your forex from, wherever you get it from, people took money and invested it back into the RTGS. So to cover the losses from the bonds, they relied on Zimbabwean people introducing new money and new forex to prop up the new bond, which is the RTGS. Right. So similar to a Ponzi scheme, where returns to earlier investors are paid with the capital from newer investors rather than actual profits, a Ponzi economy relies on continuous influxes of money or credit to sustain itself without actually generating any real value or worth. So this is kind of what's happening in Zimbabwe. As soon as one currency goes bust, for the whole scheme to keep going, they rely on new money coming in. And how do they get the new money? By introducing a new currency. And we're told the same story. Come on, guys. This time we got it right. We've got all the measures in place. Trust us. We're going to bring in this new currency. You give us your forex, your foreign currency. Trust us, and We're going to do the rest. We're going to make sure everything is going to work out perfectly. And guess what? Now we're at the point where the RTGS, or bond, however you want to call it, has flopped. It's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. The rate is all over the place. And guess what? It kind of feels like it's a Ponzi economy. So now they need a bit more cash to keep the thing going again. So what do? They introduce a new currency. What's the new currency? The ZiG. So what are people going to do again? They're going to introduce this ZiG, and as you can imagine, the people, or the spatelenis, or the people, the money changers who change money, are going to have fresh plastics full of brand new cash before the bank actually has the money. Usually the guys on the black market have got the money, and they're going to exchange, or people are going to exchange forex, US dollars, rands, pounds. They're going to exchange that for this ZiG, these pieces of paper, because they need another cash influx. That's why some people have come up and coined the term a Ponzi economy, because that's what best describes the situation in Zimbabwe. Now you got to look at it from a different angle, and as the people of Zimbabwe, you have to ask yourself the question is, where does this currency that's constantly being introduced to the Zimbabwean people, where does it end up? And the answer is, it always ends up in the hands of normal, regular Zimbabweans who know nothing about nothing. And at the end of the day, when you collect money from World Remit or Western Union, however you get your forex, wherever you get it from, where does the forex always end up? Now, I'll give an example. So when I'm paying my utilities, rates, water, I think it comes up and, to around about essentially $200 every month. Of course, the city council insists that they want payment in US dollars. So you can imagine if all the households, and I'm from Bulawayo, so you can imagine if all the residents of Bulawayo are paying on average $100 every month, where is all of that cash going? Where is it all going? It's ending up in the hands of the people who are introducing these new currencies. So it's literally robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's a pyramid scheme. So as soon as they introduce a new currency, they sell it to normal people, the regular Zimbabweans. We lap it up, we buy it all up, and we say, yeah, we're going to buy it, we're going to exchange our forex for this. And then it ends up in the hands of the same people who introduced the ZiG. If you go and talk to people who are in the know, the people in control, the people who are actually rolling out this new currency, they actually don't have any bank accounts with local currency. Most of their funds and most of their assets are kept in US dollars. So why is there a need for us to keep playing this game where we have to keep buying into every new currency that's coming onto the block? Now, I'm actually a supporter of ZANU-PF. I actually support a lot of the things that ZANU-PF stands for in terms of land redistribution and the empowerment of black people and Zimbabwean assets, Zimbabwean land being owned by Zimbabwean people. I'm for that. I'm with that. And it's disappointing for me because I feel really let down. And I think a lot of people are actually feeling quite let down. And is it a coincidence that this new currency is being introduced soon after the elections? I don't think so. I don't think so. And I'll be surprised, if Zimbabweans actually pick this up and go ahead and buy the ZiG. But time will tell. But in any case, I'll catch you on the next one. Nice one.